Hey you guys, welcome to another speed reviews video. I've got 30 products to go over with you guys. Only about half of these are actually new releases. I've been testing a bunch of stuff that's been piquing my interest, so I would say probably 15 of these are like new releases. There was a period there where I feel like we just had like lulls in new releases, and so I was going after things that I had been wanting to try. But anyway, I'm gonna go over it all with you guys. I feel like even formulas that are a little bit older are still really cool to cover, especially if I'm like finding things that have been on the market for a while that I just didn't know were so great and I'm loving to incorporate them into my collection, or if they suck too, like telling you that is also awesome. So I'm going to show you guys cutaways of everything. I apply everything to my face. I just got finished doing it, so I left some of my favorite products on my face. That's typically how I do it. Even though I like to show you guys everything, I want to start off with the eye category, so let's get into it. All right, so the first one is a new release. It's from Giorgio Armani. It's the new mascara. This little one is just the mini. This is a nice lengthening formula. It took a while for the formula to dry out. I think initially it was kind of wet, and when a formula is wet, I know for me it doesn't deposit enough pigment. The lashes just don't get dark enough. You can just see it's not building up properly. But I think as this formula continued to dry out, it got more pigmented. It's a nice wand too. It's one of those wands that are plastic bristles, and I really like that. This is a lengthening formula that's very clean on the lashes. It makes them lengthened. It doesn't clump them up. It combs through the lashes really nicely. It's actually a really good lengthening formula. I will say the mini version, which is the one that I picked up, looks like a full-on sample size. I want to say this retailed for like $15 for this little tester. I mean, I'm calling it a tester because it's quite honestly one of the smallest minis that I've ever purchased, and the packaging is super duper cheap. I feel like even for that price point, they could have done like a little bit better, you know, more so than what this looks like to me. But back to the formula, it is really nice. It is a very lengthening, very clean formula. It doesn't flake, it doesn't clump. I know a lot of you like lengthening formulas, so this is actually a really, really good one. I love it for the bottom lashes. It's one of like the cleanest mascaras on the bottom lashes. I find my favorite bottom lash mascaras are the plastic molded bristled wands. They just perform the best, and this doesn't deposit too much pigment or get chunky. So it's good. It's not going to become my favorite because my favorites are volumizing mascaras, but I do like to have lengthening mascaras in my collection, so this is a good one. I will say the reason that I picked that up is just because I typically like Armani products, and so I'm typically grabbing their new releases because even if it's not volumizing, they're probably going to do a pretty good lengthening formula. I will say I was not impressed with that when I first tried it. All right, let's move on to Complexion products. I have 4 foundations, and 2 of them are new releases, and then 2 of them are not. They've just been kind of on my loves list, and then one was one I repurchased to try again. So let's talk about that one first. It's the Hourglass Soft Glow Foundation. I've reviewed this on my channel. I've even done like a dedicated video to the wear test of this. I've even done a dedicated video to trying this again in my Foundation a Day series that went on like the year before last and maybe part of last year. I thought I would like it again because originally I didn't like it because my skin was very dry at the time that I tested this, and my skin is so much more combo now that I am going for matter, harsh, thicker foundations more so than I have ever been able to in the past. So I picked this up on Ipsy because it was $25, so I think almost half off, but I don't like the formula. I still don't. It's not necessarily that it creates texture on my face, it just looks dry, and then it looks drier as the day goes on. It's more of a medium coverage foundation, but it's that whipped consistency. I'm not saying I don't love whipped consistency foundations, because actually there's a couple in my collection that are some of my absolute favorites. The new ABH foundation, very whipped. Lancome Tanti Dole, I've talked about this, whipped foundation. The discontinued e.l.f. satin finish foundation, whipped consistency. Some of my favorite foundations in my entire collection. But this is on the drier side. I think if you're going to be whipped, you still have to be somewhat hydrating. So I don't like the way this blends in. I don't like the way it wears. I don't like the way it sits around the center of my face. Overall, just not a fan. And it's funny because this had such hype when it first released 2 years ago. And I even think that a lot of people with dry skin got along with this. I still don't like it. I don't know why I paid the $25. I'm sorry that I did. And I feel like now, having tested it with combo skin, I feel like I have to share it again because I really just didn't like this. I just don't think this is a good foundation overall. I prefer something that's much more thin of a formula than that, or more hydrating, or both. All right, the next one is a new release from the drugstore. This is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Blurring Skin Tint with SPF 30. This one is in the shade 410 Fair Neutral. By the way, the Hourglass one was in the shade Ambient 3. I did do a wear test on this in my testing drugstore makeup, and I even said like in the title of the video, like skin tint, but is it really? Because it's not like your standard skin tint. It doesn't perform like a light coverage kind of glowy skin tint. This is more medium coverage and it's a drier finish. It's kind of like a natural matte finish, and I think that it even says that. Yes, light coverage, soft matte finish. I kind of disagree with the light coverage though. I think it's more medium buildable coverage. I don't think you need to build this up. I think it starts out pretty medium with the amount of coverage that I put on my face. It is not the longest wearing soft matte skin tint, but I like, even though it's kind of a whipped texture, it's a really lightweight formula, unlike the Hourglass that I feel is just kind of heavy on my skin. I actually really like this. I think this is gonna wind up in my best of beauty for 2025 at the end of the year, because I like a skin tint that is smoothing on the skin, but also lightweight, medium coverage, and maybe a soft matte finish. So this kind of checks all my boxes, which is unusual that they're calling it a blurring skin tint and not like a foundation. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I love this formula. If you guys like something similar to me, I think you would really enjoy this. All right, this one has been on my list to try. I don't know why. Sometimes like packaging and seeing pictures of things just makes me want to try it. And so it's been on my mind to test it, but also it just sounds like something that I would like. This is from Kiko Milano. It's the full coverage 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. So this one comes with the doe foot style, you know, so you can also do it as a concealer. This is a full coverage foundation, but it's like a soft matte finish, or maybe it's even more than a soft matte finish. It's more of a matte finish. It's more long lasting, but it's a lightweight formula, which is perfect. It performs perfectly. It doesn't look too dry. Really, really good lasting power, wears really well, smooths out my skin. This is fabulous, and I even wear it as concealer, and I do not mind it under the eyes. I am going for much more lightweight and lighter coverage concealers at the current moment, but even this, being a more full coverage foundation, still looks beautiful under the eyes. I didn't wear it under the eyes today because I'm testing other concealers, but with this doe foot, I literally put this all over my face and I just skip over using a separate concealer. I use this, and I think it works absolutely perfectly. I think that's important to mention because you'll see me talk about the concealers upcoming, which is I'm really struggling with finding concealers that aren't looking dry under my under eyes currently. So anyway, I love this. I'm so glad that I picked this up. You know, it's one of those situations where I lust after it for so long, and I do this with products sometimes, and then I get them and I'm like, ooh, wow, okay. That lust was misplaced, but this one was not. So I love when that happens. All right, this next one and last one is a new release. It's the L'Oreal Skin Ink. So this is marketed as like a foundation and a concealer also, and it also comes in the doe foot style. This one is in the shade 20 Neutral. I didn't mention this. The Kiko is in N10, so it is a neutral shade. Now, these skin inks, they're awful in the shade range. I think they run super duper yellow. This one also runs super duper yellow, even though it's supposed to be neutral. You do have to shake this product. It comes with one of those balls in it. It is a drier formula. It's like a self-setting skin tint, I guess. It's lighter coverage, but it's matte. This particular shade looks super yellow on me. I don't hate it as a concealer. Honestly, it doesn't provide a shit ton of coverage under the under eyes. It also doesn't like dry out or set in to my fine lines. So it's a decent concealer, but it's just not that much coverage. It's not a product that I fell in love with under the under eyes. Honestly, I would rather wear this all over the face. Here's how I've been using it. I have been using it in my videos to apply products to my cheeks and then take them off, because it's nice to have that doe foot style and just like put it on your cheeks, apply the product, take it off. It's just very easy application as opposed to a liquid pump. That's how I've been using it. I don't hate it that way, and I'm probably gonna get use out of it that way, but it's just not a good product on its own. I don't love it as an all-over foundation because it just doesn't give me enough coverage, and building it doesn't look great either. This dries super duper fast and it's really hard to blend in. So not a product I think you need. Look how hot it is up here. My chest is just getting, what the shit? Whew, you guys, I had to go like point that fan closer to me. It's so hot up here, and if I just get going with the talking, sometimes it just, there goes my blood pressure, I guess. Anyway, I don't think this is a product you need. Honestly, it's not a favorite formula for me. It doesn't enhance my collection whatsoever. All right, let's talk about the two concealers that I tested in today's video, and both of these are old. They're very old releases. They've been on the market a very long time. I've tried them before. I've had both of them. I've raved about both of them, but then I decluttered them probably because they got old. I moved on to new releases, but I'm back on these again. The reason that I picked these up is because I mentioned before, I am struggling so much to find concealers that don't look super heavy under my under eyes, don't look dry, and don't sink into fine lines. I mean, part of it is just that I'm getting older and I'm noticing the fine lines so much more, and so the concealers that once worked for me are not working quite as well. So I went back to these knowing these were a much lighter weight formula. So the first one was the Maybelline Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. This is the one that comes with the puffy style on the top. It was already loose when I got it, so I pulled the puffy off. You can still like twist this product and it comes out of the top and it works just fine. I kind of prefer it that way. Although the puffy style never bothered me, but I know a lot of people pull these off too. This one's in the shade 115. This is a really good formula. It's pretty high coverage, but it's very, very lightweight. The only thing I noticed with this is that it's more on the drier side. So I try not to use a crap ton of product and I try and lay it like in an even layer, and definitely use a sponge with this to soak up some of the product. I really do like the coverage though. This again is something that I'm glad that I picked this up again. I'm not mad about it, but I do think I have to be careful how much I apply under the under eyes. I think they've reformulated this maybe more than once, and I feel like the original formulation that I had many years ago was definitely a lighter weight formula than this. And I even have this in like the color correcting shades that they have, and that's also a very lightweight formula. I think part of having that puffy, it kind of shears the product out a little bit. So without it, I definitely find that I'm adding more coverage under the under eyes, and so therefore it looks maybe a little bit drier or a little bit thicker. Anyway, it's still a really good formula. I'm still really glad that I picked it up. I'm just gonna be reaching for this and like the 2 or 3 others that I have in my collection. Honestly, I need to do another concealer declutter because I'm reaching for the same exact ones over and over again just because my under eyes are getting drier. Yay! All right, the next one, love it also from Maybelline. It's the Fit Me concealer. This one's in the shade 010 Fair. This one's better. It's lighter coverage, but it's a lighter weight consistency and it's more hydrating than the Maybelline eraser. Really good. I mean, you cannot go wrong with this, except if you're looking for more coverage than this. That's kind of it. That's kind of what it comes down to. But this is a formula I can go in with a color corrector first and then lay this on top to give myself that added coverage without making it too heavy, because these are hydrating formulas, and or this with the color corrector that I have are both hydrating formulas. They don't dry out under my under eyes. So I really, really enjoy this one way more than the eraser for sure if I'm looking for something lightweight or to pair it up with the color corrector. Just a goodie. Just a goodie, oldie but goodie, you know, you cannot go wrong with this. All right, you guys, let's move on to the 2 setting sprays that I picked up. The first one was the Sun Touchable All Set for Sun 45 SPF Sun Protection and Setting Spray from e.l.f. I tried this one and I'm working on the one from One Size, which is a new release. And the reason I picked up the one from One Size is because I got this first and I really want a setting spray, sunscreen, or a sunscreen setting spray. I just do. This one, however, leaves me dewy and kind of greasy. So it's nice if I'm not wearing like a full face of full coverage foundation. It's good just on top of the skin, or like something lighter weight, or if I'm not worried about being dewy because I'm not trying to make my makeup last like throughout the day while I'm working or something, I'm doing something, it doesn't matter what it is. Just leaves me kind of greasy. So still a good product. It's just not one I'm gonna wear when I'm getting ready for work. This next one is though, and this is another one that I definitely lusted after. This is from Milk Makeup. It's the Pore Eclipse Matte Setting Spray. This came out last year probably with the Pore Eclipse Primer, and I bought that as a new release and I really enjoy it. It's one of 2 of the blurring pore filling primers that I still have in my collection, and I thought I would end up liking this. By the way, this one's just the mini. This one is really good. It sets down my makeup. I like that it's matte. I like matte setting sprays way more than dewy ones. Good product for combo skin, good product for oily skin. The only thing that's a downside to this is that it is a mister, but if you're too close to the hole, it's pretty intense from the sprayer itself. So you gotta hold it pretty far back from your face to spray this. Otherwise it gets a little cray cray. So that's kind of the only thing that I noticed with this. Otherwise, performance of it and making me matte and making my makeup last, it does a really good job. I actually really enjoy this. All right, let's talk about the 2 powders that I picked up, and both of these I'm pretty sure I either got from TJ Maxx or Marshalls and or Ipsy. Both of these are not new releases. So the first one is from What's Up Beauty. It's the Wind Dancer Pressed Setting Powder. This one I had my eye on because I want to try more from What's Up Beauty, but partially because it has the embossing of a beautiful butterfly and it looks really good. This one's in the shade Light. It is talc-free, clean, cruelty-free, vegan. Really good matte formula. This is a heavier powder, so if you don't like heavier powders, this is not one I would recommend for you, not at all. It's very mattifying. It is very oil controlling. It makes my makeup last. It offers a hint of additional coverage on top of the foundation, which I like, especially if I'm using using on top of a lighter coverage foundation to even out my skin tone. This is beautiful. It didn't disappoint, but I really do think this is made more for people with combo to oily skin because it's on the matte side. It's on the heavy side. This one offers more coverage, but maybe even not as matte, if that's even possible. This is from NYX. It's the Stay Matte But Not Flat powder, and it's in the shade 02 Nude. Just right up my alley in terms of what I'm looking for combo skin. This is something I definitely wear when I'm trying to lock my makeup down. This one adds more coverage than the What's Up Beauty, but not as matte. It's just not as thick a powder. It's more finely milled than the What's Up Beauty. The What's Up Beauty is a very creamy powder though. It performs super well on my skin type. Both of these do. I think though that someone who had more normal to dry skin would do better with the Stay Matte But Not Flat powder because I just think it's lighter weight overall. Actually, both of these are fabulous. I kept reaching for these a bunch, especially because it's summertime. So these are two powders I know now in my collection that are going to be best for summertime for me. I'm going to be reaching for these all the time, I can tell you right now. All right, you guys, let's move on to the so many freaking blush that I have. I actually had to break this up because there were so many freaking blush. I need to split it up into videos because blush you have to like put on and take off and put on and take. Anyway, all right, let's move on. So these two are new releases from Morphe. They're called the Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trios. The pink one is in Blind Date and the orange one is in Beach Bonfire. I recently just did a blush collection video, so you're actually gonna hear me talk about a lot of these. Again, if you saw that video that just went up. I didn't love these and I still was testing them, but I was on the fence about them. Now, there are 3 different finishes and not all of them perform exactly the same, and I don't love them all equally. So you have a cream that's more cream to powder, you have a cream that is a shimmery finish, and then you have a straight matte powder. Now, originally I liked the cream because it's that kind of cream to powder, and usually those formulas are super easy to work with. You pick them up with any freaking product, doesn't matter if it's a sponge, a brush, something fluffy, tap it on with your fingers and buff it in, that's great. So this blush performs like that, really easy to use. Now I will say, if you're not using the butt end of a sponge with the shimmer finish in the cream, you're not getting any base. It's lightly pigmented even with the sponge, but it's even worse with a brush. I find that it doesn't even lay down in enough pigment for me to really show up. The butt end of a sponge is quite honestly the only way that I enjoy applying this, except if I'm putting it on top of the cream to powder or just the matte powder. Today I use the butt end of a sponge so you can see so much nicer. The powder is my least favorite. It's pretty pigmented, but it's pretty boring. I kind of like the other two the best. I like that there's all 3 in here, and I don't dislike them as much as I did when I did that video, simply because I have had more time to test them. I try to. If I have something that doesn't perform super well with one tool, I'll move on to a different tool and see if I can get it to work for me. I honestly do not mind a butt end of a sponge, so for me, it doesn't bother me. These aren't like super duper cheap, but they're pretty affordable alternatives to the one size trios, the cheek clappers that are like this. I kind of prefer the one size maybe a little bit more because I feel like it's just more pigmented, but I've heard a lot of people say that that's what they didn't like about those. So honestly, if we're going down that road, if you had a hard time with the pigment in the cheek clappers from one size, these are a better option. All right, here's another trio, and this is a new release from Sephora. It's the Blush 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 Trio. Multi-texture blush trio is what it's called, and this one is in Sunset Chaser. These released with only 4 shades. Whether or not they'll expand, I don't know, but I don't think that's enough. The only pink shade that looked like it might work for me was kind of like a hot pink, which I'm not into. So no real mauve, no real nude shade as far as I can remember. This is meant to be very similar to like the one size, which has a cream, a powder matte, and then a shimmery powder. I kind of have some overall gripes with it. I think if you're not using a super fluffy brush to pick up the cream product and then tapping it off onto your hand, it's too intensely pigmented. It's stark looking, and this is a stickier formula in the cream. However, if you pick it up with a super fluffy brush, it does work nicely. It's not a cream to powder formula. It has a lot of juiciness. It's a more radiant cream formula. Now, the next bit that I have a gripe about is that the powders, they're super lightly pigmented. I cannot get them to show up on me unless I'm using a super dense brush. Dense, dense, dense. I pounce it in there like crazy. I twirl them together to get a little bit of the shimmer from the matte shimmer side, although my third gripe is that shimmer is barely even shimmery, like super duper lightly. It's not even worth it to have a trio with one that you intend to be shimmer because it's not pigmented enough to show up on your cheeks. It's more like a highlighter. So the only option here is to swirl the two mattes together, in my personal opinion. They're fine if you can pick them up with a super dense brush. I don't know, it's just not an overall formula that I needed in my collection. I could see myself totally decluttering this because I have a shit ton of blush. I don't need this one. This one didn't add anything. I struggle with the Sephora blushes, I tell ya. Not that they're terrible, they're never just great for me. Even the colorful blushes. Some are okay, some are not good. It's a whole thing. All right, the next one up is from Moira Beauty. This is called the Love Spell Powder Blush, and this one's in the shade 005 Love Lust. Yes, this is a blush. I also talked about this in my blush collection video, but I also talked about it when I tested it. This is basically a highlighter. It's not really a blush. I like it as a highlighter. It's not going to do anything for me as a blush. I really don't understand what they were thinking when they produced a shade this light for a blush because I have such a light complexion. I'm light, okay, you guys? Like, I am very, very fair. This would not show up on me with the most dense brush out there. So I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know who swatched this in quality control and was like, that's a blush shade. That's gonna work right there. You know, as a highlighter, it's kind of a drier formula. I mean, just as a formula in general, it's kind of on the dry side. So I'm saying that it's more like dry looking as a highlighter shade. Although I love Moira Beauty products overall, I'm just such a big fan, and it is really like blinding highlighter. So I'm gonna keep it as a highlighter. It's just not a blush. So buyer beware on the shade range because they have like a ton, but the lighter ones, I think you need to find a model and make sure it's actually showing up on the model's cheek, you know, before you buy these. I mean, they're not expensive, but it's still, I was like, what the hell is this when I pulled it out? That's not a blush. And then I got it on and I was like, oh, that's really not a blush. These two I got in PR from Mango People. The brand reached out to me a while ago and asked me if I wanted to test some of their products. So I have two more, their bronzer and their highlight as well. But they let me pick 2 shades of the blush. These are multi-use sticks, so they're not necessarily blush. They're also for lips. Eyes, it's just a multi-stick is what they're called. I have Japour in the pink shade, and then the orange shade is an apricot. These are gorgeous. I freaking love these. They're in like bullet style packaging, so they look like a lipstick, but I love them as a blush. The thing is, I don't hate them as a lip product either. I think they're a really buildable formula. I feel as though they're not flat on the cheeks because they do not dry down matte. They do have a radiance to them. They're kind of a glossier formula, but the way that they buff in is super even on the cheeks. They apply very nicely. They don't lift anything. Again, the buildability is totally there. Definitely with the pink shade, I went in lighter so you guys could see, and then I like built up the intensity with the apricot shade so you guys can see that these go more intense if that's what you're looking for. I just really enjoy them. I even enjoy that they're like smaller, sleeker packaging, and you have to take the brush and kind of wipe it all over the head of the brush to get the full thing coated. Doesn't matter. I think these are fabulous. They have an interesting scent to them though. They like smell like makeup, like a really strong makeup scent, but I believe Mango People is clean beauty. Anyway, these are fabulous. I really, really enjoyed them. They didn't give me a discount code or anything like that, but I will link their stuff in the description box. All right, very last blush here is from Sachu. This is the Cheek Stain. I'd love to know if you guys watched me when I tested this. The packaging busted on me. The bottom component was twisting, then all of a sudden it just slipped off, and then the product basically got everywhere. So I eventually had to take the component apart, push it back in, all the product shot out of the top, and then I had to put the cap back on. And then I was twisting for several more uses after that to see if the product would come out. Watch on this cutaway, I literally am twisting, trying to show you that the packaging is broken, only to, in that very moment, the packaging started working again and the lovely little puffy started to push out the product. So I got a shit ton on my hand, so you'll see my swatch. I have like a lighter swatch and then a heavier swatch. Point is, it's working now. It's a puffy style. I don't love this formula. It takes so freaking long to build up the color. It's so weird. It's kind of a dark shade, but it shears out over and over and over again. It's like, where did it go? And then if I like take a step back, I'm like, oh shit, the color is there. I can see it now, but it looks like it's shearing out every single time. One of you did make that comment. How do you find this blush perform? I find that it shears out on me. I do find that also. I feel like you need a lot of product for the pigment to show up on your cheeks. It's not intense, but it seems like it is, because when it comes off this doe foot, it looks really strong. It's weird formula. And also, I don't even think it's a freaking stain. I have done a wear test on this blush before. I've also worn it all day. Doesn't stay on my cheeks all day. So not like the lip product, you know? I mean, they're going for everything's a freaking stain. So I kind of feel like, all right, I know the lip product is staining. I have one of those lip peely liners, but this one is not as long lasting as that. It's not even like the same principle. It's just a liquid formula that I think they're calling the cheek stain. I don't know. It shears out and it doesn't stay all day. Go figure. All right, I have the one bronzer that I was talking about from Mango People. This one's in the shade Chai, which is actually their lightest shade. Again, very makeup-y smell to this. I don't know, I kind of like it, so that's why I keep mentioning it. This is a really, really warm shade in Chai. Super, super orange. Very, very bronzy. So I like it on the cheeks, but I don't like it on the forehead because it's too much, I feel like, on the forehead. I look orangey, but the formula I love. It's the exact same formula as the blushes. They're just creamy and radiant, and they buff in super evenly and well onto the cheeks, and I don't know, they don't lift anything. The formula moves about in the way that it should when you're bouncing it around with the brush. So great formula, but again, the shade is so orange, it's not something I'm gonna get a crap ton of use out of. I don't know how long I'll hold on to this knowing that the shade comes out that orange, or if it's just something that I hold on to because I like the formula for a day that I want something more warm toned. I don't know yet. I haven't totally decided. But if you don't like something warm toned, which I typically don't, I don't recommend this product to you. And their highlighter. This one's in Morning Light. When I got to pick the products, they said that they couldn't ship them right away because they did not have some of these products in stock. One of them, I think, was the highlighter. So I think this was like sold out for a while, but it's back now as far as I know. And I originally wanted the pink shade, not this shade, which is the lightest sort of champagne tone. This is an interesting formula. You can see that it has some pearl about it, but it also looks extremely glossy. It's not like the bronzer and the blush, which have like a little bit more dry down. This one is more on the sticky side and definitely looks more radiant. I like it on the cheeks. It's just not like a color necessarily. It's more like a finish that you see, just like a dewy finish. You know, one of the things that I love doing with this, and it's really weird because I don't typically like to do stuff like this, is I like to lay this down and then throw a powder on top of it. And then the powder literally locks onto the product and then just stays all day. It's great. Like, it looks great together. I don't necessarily love this on its own. Again, it is sticky, so if you don't set it down, I think it stays sticky and you can lift it with your finger. It's also just more balmy and doesn't have like a lot of intensity in terms of like its pearlized finish. So it's interesting that I chose to find a way to wear it in a way that I typically don't, which is layering products on top of each other. I don't know what made me think of it. I think it was just like too sticky on my cheeks and I was like, oh, I need to put something over it. And then I was like, oh, that is amplified, and it looked really good. So I will probably hold on to this. Just interesting. I mean, I don't even know how to review something like that. It's good. It's different. I found a way that it works for me and then I really liked it. Cool. Okay, the next one up is from Makeup Forever. Not a new release, but I've had my eye on it for a while. This is the Artist Highlighter in Wherever Pearl. I love these sculpties. I love these artist sculpts. I love the bronzer. Not a bronzer, it's a sculpt product. It's more like a contour. The blush shade is like shimmery and delicious, and I love that I got the highlighter for myself. This one is like a pinky shade in Wherever Pearl, but it like almost has like a blue reflect without being reflecty. You know, it doesn't like shift. It's just kind of like pink and blue pushed together. So pretty. You know, when you swatch it with your finger, it's more on the light side, but then when you apply it to a brush on the cheeks, yeah, you do glisten to the sky. It's an intense, icy ass highlighter. It's still gorgeous. I love these artist sculpt. I don't know how else to describe how much I love them. I mean, this emphasizes the shit out of my texture on my cheeks, but I do shine to the sky. I don't regret getting this. I think everyone could like those artist sculpts. All right, this one is a new release from NARS. It's the Light Reflecting Luminizing Powder, and I got mine in the shade Heavenly. Heavenly is a super deep shade. Let me open this, let me show you. Yikes. It's got kind of a stronger pinkish base. Surprisingly though, it's not as icy as the Wherever Pearl from Makeup Forever. I thought that this might be too deep on me, but it isn't. It's kind of like a putty texture. I love highlighters like this. And it's not as putty as my putty highlighters, but it feels very creamy and putty-like. Anyway, it's gorgeous. It doesn't emphasize as much texture on the cheeks as the one from Makeup Forever. It's a smoother formula, and honestly, even though it's light reflecting, it's not as light reflecting as the Makeup Forever one. It's much more natural in this color. It's a lot smoother on the cheeks. Really good. I knew NARS was gonna do a good job, so I knew I was gonna get it. All right, let's move on to the lip products, you guys. I have a bunch of lip products, and a bunch of these are actually new releases. But let's talk about the ones that are not first. So I've had my eye on this one for a while. It's the Too Faced Pillow Balm Lip Treatment. The reason that I got this one, and I will be having like a crap ton of blue or like super pink sparkly, maybe even like purple lip glosses upcoming that you guys are gonna see, because I've been on a mission Don't even ask me why. It's all the sparkles. All I want in my lip products lately is sparkles. I just want to sparkle. This formula is okay. It's in the shade Ice Crystal. It truly is a balm though. It's not a high shine gloss. It doesn't feel like a lip oil. It's more pillowy, just like it says, like pillow balm lip treatment. 100%, that's what it is. It's not super shiny because it's a balm formula, but it's super hydrating, just like a lip treatment. It's very hydrating on the lips. It's honestly not that pigmented. You'll see on my lips, it like offers like maybe a little bit of reflection in this particular color, but there's not a lot happening. There's not a shit ton of sparkles either. This is not like a super sparkly packed formula where you get a lot of leftovers on the lips when this starts to fade. It's just not one of those. So it truly is a pillow balm. It's just a liquid balm formula, and the shade kind of is neither here nor there for me because it doesn't show up a shit ton. You can kind of catch the pearls that are pink and purple in the light, but that's pretty much about it. Otherwise it's pretty much sheer. I will say, because it is a balm, and if you try to layer it up, it will start to get thick and kind of goopy. So I've had some bad applications with this where my lips started to stick together. So I think it's a decent formula in a small layer, in a very thin layer on your lips. I don't think you want to build this up because I've had goop lips. I prefer this one, and this is where I would recommend you go unless you're looking for a liquid balm. This one's from Milk Makeup. It's the Odyssey lip oil / gloss. These came out, what, last year or year before maybe? So I've tried these. I've reviewed this in the other shade that I have, but I love it so much. So I wanted to talk about Globetrot, which is the shimmer finish. The other one that I have is not shimmery. You can see why I got this, because I'm going for those glimmery lip products just in mass. I have always loved this formula. It is truly a shiny gloss formula that is also slick like a balm, but it doesn't fade off super fast. Now, even though the Too Faced maybe looks like it's more light reflective, it definitely has a bigger pink flip than this one does. This one shows up so much more because there's way more sparkles in this. This is one of those products where the sparkles are left over as the lip product starts to fade. I think this looks great on its own, much better than the Pillow Balm from Too Faced, because I think this is even less sheer, and you can layer this up without it getting goopy and sticky like the Pillow Balm. So I kind of layer this up until I get the pigment that I like, but it is that kind of high shine finish. So I prefer this. I really love this formula. That's my second one now. All right, this is not a new release. It's from Katkin. Wait till you guys see the bullet and you'll know why I got it. It's one of their Moonlit Glitter Lip Balms. It's in the shade C14 Unicorn. I love this formula. I love it. It's a lip balm, so it's a little bit more sheer, but it has sparkles all over it. Sparkles throughout the bullet, sparkle overspray, sparkle freaking everything. I love the shade name too, Unicorn. I mean, stop it. Just stop it right now. I love this formula because it is a glitter lip balm. So yeah, more sheer. It's hydrating. It has a nice shine to it, and you can really see the glitter on your lips. I mean, can you go wrong with that if that's what you're looking for? No, it performs how it should. All right, this is, I don't think, a new release in this particular shade, but these 3D Hydra Lip Glosses from Kiko Milano, they've had a lot of shade extensions lately, and most of them are in this shimmery finish. Although I don't think this one is new. This one's in the shade 46, but I could be wrong because I got this on Amazon. There's a bunch of new shades on Ulta right now. This one is like a, oh my gosh, like a pink with purple sparkles. I raved about this formula when I tested it for the first time, probably 2 years ago from Kiko Milano, when I picked it up from their website. This is gorgeous. Single swipe, pigment, high shine, really good formula. See the sparkles. Delicious. It's juicy and pigmented and juicy and pigmented. Please just look at the cutaways and like, it's so good. I can't. I get all giddy. I want 66 more of these. I really enjoy the Kiko Milano lip formulas. I've talked about them for years. They do good lip formulas in pretty much every freaking release that they come out with. Not enough people talk about it. Now that it's on Ulta, I see that some shades are selling out. So I actually think this is going to get a lot more attention now. All right, let's talk about this new release. I bought all 6 shades from e.l.f. the Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balms. All right, let's talk about the shades. Shade range is good. It goes across several different skin tones. I think you can use these for light skin tones, medium, and deep. I think they have a decent shade range here. Not all of these shades look good on me, and not all of them are as pigmented as others. They all have a little bit of a different flavor to them. I guess maybe I should call it like a scent. Each one of them has a different name, and it's supposed to be mimicking what that is. So like the brown is Java Chip, Vanilla Toffee, etc. You get it. They're trying to make them smell and taste just like their names. The ones that are deeper or mocha colored are probably great for deeper skin tones. They just don't look good on me. So what I'm doing is I'm only showing you guys the red one. The red one is the most pigmented anyway. I've lip swatched these. I have a dedicated video to these if you guys are interested in seeing what each shade looks like on. So I only want to keep, honestly, the red and the purple. They're the best looking on me personally. They fit my preference the most. The one that is peachy in Strawberry Shortcake has the best smell, but it's kind of sheer. It matches my lip color a little bit. I might keep it. Honestly, the other three I'm probably not going to hold on to. They just don't look that flattering and they're very, very sheer on me. I like the formula though. It's very balm-like. It has a high shine to it. It has stickiness though, so it's gonna last, but it's not goopy on the lips. A really nice formula, and it has a rubber tip that feels really good going on. Lots of good things about these, honestly, and they're worth the price point. It's just that I don't think each shade in terms of pigment is universal or matching, and I don't think everyone looks good on every skin tone. I find that the ones that are deeper and or more neutral shades, they tend to be, because they're a little bit more sheer, kind of patchy looking on my particular lips, because I just have like a cooler undertone paint lip. All right, the next one is a new release from Maybelline. It's the Glaze Oil Balm. This one's in the shade 008, Acai Glaze. Is that how you say it? Acai? I don't know. Anyway, Maybelline usually does a really good job with lip products, so I had started out and I was gonna buy 2 shades of this. I got a really deep shade because this looked kind of sheer on the models, and it is. Now it's a buildable lip balm formula, which is really nice. You can start it out super sheer, but then you can keep going and it gets really deep actually. It's a nice formula. It is like a balm. It's a stiffer balm, so it doesn't have a shit ton of shine, but because it's stiffer, it lasts longer. So I like the pigmentation on this. Honestly, I don't love the shade though. I think the deeper shades like this, if they're in a balm formula and they start out more sheer, all I want to do is keep building them up because they look a little bit patchy on me, and then when I start building, I feel like they get too deep. And that's a shade thing. That is not a formula thing, and that is just my perception of it, but that's how I feel about this shade. So I'll probably go back for a different shade in this because I thought it was a really good formulation. You know, I have like 3 million balms in my collection. I don't think that this like stood out, but part of it is because of the shade that I picked. Okay, I got this. This is shade number 4, I'm pretty sure. And it is a new release, but I went for it from Fenty Beauty. It's one of the high shimmer gloss sticks, and this one is in the shade Fussy. So I have all the other shades but the mocha shade, and I had to get this one because it's a mauve shade and it has like blue to purple sparkles in it. These are great. These are not quite as melty as I find the ones without shimmer are, but this is glitter. This is not even like, you call it shimmer, but it'll leave glitter particles all over your lips when you're done. I just love it. So if you don't like that, I would stay away from them, but I personally love the shit out of sparkles and glitter, and it's great. I love that this is kind of a mauve shade with like blue purple sparkles. I have mentioned my favorite lip gloss from Marc Jacobs was discontinued, but it was pink with blue reflect, and I've been trying to find a pink with blue reflect gloss ever since. I feel like this is the one that comes the absolute closest. So if you want sparkly, if you want shiny, so good. Honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these shades. You've got Fenty Glow, you've got an orange one in See You in Miami. Is so flattering. I didn't even think I would love it, and I do. It's probably my favorite one, honestly, that See You in Miami shade. All right, another new release. This is from Fenty Beauty again. This is the Traced Out Lip Pencil, or Pencil Lip Liner rather, and this one is in the shade Riri, I'm pretty sure. Yes, 01 Riri. These are supposed to be super creamy and super long lasting, and that's exactly what they are. They're super creamy and they're super long lasting. I mean, I kind of equate them to the About Face ones that are $7 less expensive, but I will say after testing them side by side, the About Face ones are very, very creamy and pigmented, just like these ones are. Very pigmented, but the About Face ones don't last as long as these ones do. So creaminess is pretty much the same. Pigmentation is the same. It's just that these are definitely a more long wear lip liner than the About Face ones. So I mentioned that simply because the About Face is $13 and these ones are $20 a lip liner, but it's a really good formula. I love it. I thoroughly enjoyed that. All right, you guys, the very last product is not a new release, but it has like little sparkles in it. I just love it. It's the lip product that I'm wearing from Bare Minerals. It's the Mineralist Lip Gloss Balm in the shade Love. It's almost a purple shade with like teeny tiny sparkles in it, but like over this lip lip liner that tends to be a little bit more warm on me, the color over top of it turns to be a warmer tone. But watch when I swatch it. It's almost a purple shade. I love cool tone mauve shades that turn almost purple. So I do enjoy wearing this all on its own without the lip liner, quite honestly. It's a beautiful formula though. It feels kind of like the Milk Makeup Odyssey gloss because it's like a hybrid. It's a gloss slash balm. It's a little bit more hydrating though because it's balmy. It has more stick-to-itiveness than maybe like a lip oil. It's just an overall pretty formula, very standard, very beautiful shade. Now, the pearls in it, I don't really see. I mean, I definitely see that this is like a higher shine gloss, but I don't necessarily see the pearls on the lips. I just think the formula is a really standard, everyday, beautiful, high-performing formula. And that's it. That's everything. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please feel free to leave me in your comments in the comments below of anything that you've tried, any of the feedback that you guys have. I love to hear when you're like, oh, I loved that. Oh, I hated that. Like, I love it all. Just give it all to me. If you guys are not currently subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe so you stick around. I'm out of here and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.